this week. Take it away, Mark.
Yeah, thanks. It's actually not even Mark's tales in essence, because I'd actually prepared, at first, I'd prepared to talk about a female runner who came before Halima and Winnie, the ones he's been talking about. And then I spoke with her and we said, let's push it to next week. Then I was going to bring in one of the greatest rally drivers of all time in Uganda here. And that story was going to be super special.
Next 2 weeks.
Yeah, but even with him, we're going to do that.
Actually, we should go and do it from his place.
And then after that, I was going to talk about, in honor also of another fallen Ugandan footballer. You know, we lost Robert Mujabi, former Kofi AC player, a big Express fan, and also a big man in the Senene clan, is it? Yeah, we lost him. So in honor of his memory, I was going to talk about a friend of his, who's one of the true legends of Ugandan football, who played at Kofi, at the great Kofi, in the great Kofi side of the 80s. And then I shelved all of that. We shelved all of that because of the passing of the speaker, and said instead, let us honor the speaker. So it's not real Max Tell. As I tweeted, as you saw in a tweet of mine in honor of him, I said the last time I saw him alive and well was at the FIFA Awards. As you remember, I was invited to the FIFA Awards because I was supposed to receive the President's Award, the President's Award. And so, FIFA brought, Moses Magogo and FIFA brought the speaker in as the chief guest. And so he walks in. He was healthy, he was strong, he was really strong. And he came in a hurry because he was a bit late, and he had other duties and all. And he left in a hurry as well. But in between, he stayed. After I received my award, we had that quick one, a very quick talk there as I went down the podium, a quick chat, and then in which he was saying that was a great acceptance speech. He loved it. He said he loved it, and then he said, then he told me how he'd followed my sport, my sports work for a bit. With that, it might surprise me. Because actually I had not realized at that time, until he said it, that there was a time actually when our times at Makerere University collided. I was in there with him because for him, as soon as he finished his first degree, which was agriculture economics, he went straight into law school. So he started a second degree, and then I came into Makerere and was doing that second law degree, which he finished in '94, because the other one he had finished in '91. So I came in '92. So and then he said, of course everybody knew you and they didn't know me. That was a small, quick thing. As a trip, I mean, it was a joke. I thought one day I'm going to get more time to talk with him. As you know, very eloquent, nice guy and everything. So the speaker passed. So today, as I was preparing my tales, I said, you know what, we need to pay tribute to him. We'll pay the tribute to the other legends later. So I called a few members of parliament and said, I mean, I don't know the speaker as a sports for his sports prowess. What can you tell me? So Honorable Mohammed Nsereko, this was one of the first people I called on the phone, and he said, "Oh, by the way, he was a sportsman. You might find it funny. Those are the guys who are the pioneers who started the parliamentary football team." And he talked about him, Honorable Jacob L'okori Oulanya, playing as the centre back, the sweeper, the number 5, in a team with Alintuma Sambo and Elijah Okupa. Odongoto was their goalkeeper. That they started that team in 2006.
I hope they conceded many.
He told me why, because Odongoto was in goal. No, and he told me, Mohammed Nsereko told me, actually those guys played against the parliamentarians of the UK. And also played against Kenya and Tanzania. And of course, he said they didn't win any trophies until we came in. 2011, Mohammed Nsereko, when they came in, and then I think he's been the captain of a parliamentary team that has won trophies and all, because Mohammed Nsereko was a very good footballer. So he told me about that and said, yeah, he supported sport, and he was always, even our budgets for all the sports disciplines, the parliamentary teams, he was helping ensure that they were funded and things like that. And he told me that even towards the end of his tenure, he had a concern about, say, the progress of the development of Akibwa Stadium. He told me things like that. So I said, I need his story from further back. Can I get the school one? I have tried and failed to get hold of Honorable Mao. I really wanted to get, because Mao would have told me that story. And I would have told it here like what was my own, when it was his. But I couldn't get him on the phone. And then it struck me. Apparently, he's still not back in the country yet. I was wondering why I couldn't get Mao on the phone, because he would have definitely given it. When Sereko gave it, I called Sereko, I called Semujunga, and I called guys in Parliament, and all of them, when I told them what I wanted to talk about, they were quick to respond because they're all feeling the sadness the nation that has gripped the nation. So now I made the mistake. I should have gone into Mao's DM on Twitter. He's probably not looking at his WhatsApps, but he's looking at the Twitter.
He's busy on Twitter these days.
As you know, these days, I him on Twitter. I would have got him there. But anyway, I thought that us as press box here should find our own way to pay tribute to a fallen legend. You can't have the passing of one of the most important people in the nation and not mention something about him.
Absolutely.
Thankfully for me, the parliamentarians told me he had something to do with sports, which I didn't know, to be honest, before today.
I want to say two things, Mark, to supplement you. I've seen a video of Jacob L'okori Oulanya doing a stunt with Dusman Oki, the RDC of Padel. And the hand combination.
The former FMU.
The former FMU president.
My former colleague. Our former colleague in the newsroom.
Our former colleague in Daily Monitor. And the combinations of the hands look like someone who has been to a boxing gym. You can almost tell when you see one. Also, previously, secondly, in my life as an official at National Council of Sports, I had a chance to interact with him. At the time, we were doing an exhibition. There is an annual parliamentary exhibition happens around December, where all government ministries, departments and agencies go to showcase what they are doing with the money that Parliament allocates. So I was an exhibitor trying to explain what NCS does to all the people who came in, and then Jacob L'okori walks in. And then he asks for the name. Then he asks, oh, how did you get into NCS? And I tell him about my background in sport and all. I work with Radio 1 and all. He's like, I listen to Radio 1, I listen to the music. I've not had a chance. Maybe you remind me about when you work. Then as I went through the process of what I was explaining, he asked me about what I felt Ugandan sport needed. And I said maybe he knows all the other things are funding. I told him, Ugandan sport needs tax-free incentives for equipment. And not only those that end up with the sportsmen, but even those sold in shops. If I'm going to buy boots for my child or a jersey for volleyball, then I shouldn't be paid taxes. Then he said, okay, this is totally different from what I've always heard from everyone. Everyone is always asking for money from Parliament. You guys should talk to the Minister of Finance, and they bring us a law where we amend the Tax Act and allow sport to sports equipment to come in for free. Unfortunately, I did not get the chance. I remember I shared it with my supervisor, then the General Secretary, Dr. Bernard Ogon, and I said, there is this opportunity. If you went to the Minister of Finance, this is something you're going to present. Unfortunately, that has not yet been passed. Still today, sport has to beg to have taxes revoked.
No, they've since now me who's been at NCS later than you will tell you that they've actually been following up on that. It's one of the things that the council has been following up on.
I've made a contribution.
But clearly seeing him riding his motorbike there, does that fall under the category of sport?
Yeah, that's sport. I mean, that's definitely sport.
Those bikers do a lot of charity, but it's not necessarily sport.
But in one of his speeches, at least at the ceremonies, welcoming back guys from athletes from the Commonwealth, Olympics. He also hinted about, after COVID hit us and then the sports budget had to get back up. But in September, he actually mentioned how he was going to coordinate with the rest in the sports ministry to make sure the sports budget just goes on the upward, not going downward.
I think it's going back.
And that was targeting this financial year.
So I think it's going back up.
It's going back to 25 billion from it had been cut during COVID down to 18.
As low as 8 months.
The council people, the general secretary and the board have worked so hard. It's going to shoot be well above 25. But we'll break that story when the time comes. So I said instead of doing a Mark's Tale where I tell a story about the other legends, let's just pay tribute to the fallen Jacob Oulanya and say rest in peace.
It's definitely been a dark week for Uganda, and from the entire team here at the press box, those on air and those in the production room, our condolences to the family and of course the nation for the passing of the speaker.